Rita, lover, gopi of Krishna. Regretful after quarreling, the gopi severely reprimands herself. Oh, why did I do that? Krishna, she sincerely reprimands Krishna, and she spurns Krishna, even after Krishna falls at her feet in front of her Sakhis. Krishna is humiliating himself to the maximum. It's one thing to fall in front of your beloved when you're alone, or to show the humble pie, or show that your lover is superior. But to fall at the feet of someone in public, it means that you're a disciple and they're your guru, or that you don't have much ego. But it's hard to find some guy falling at the feet of his girlfriend in the middle of a mall on a Saturday night. I don't think so. Or on the public sidewalk in New York City. Millions of people, that's something people will be too ashamed and embarrassed. But Krishna, even when Radharani's with her other Sakhis, and Krishna's come to meet her, and then they have an argument and the gopis are there, and then Radharani argues with him, kalaha, prem kalaha. And then Krishna falls at her feet, oh please forgive me, right in front of all of her Sakhis. He doesn't care about what they think or about being embarrassed or whatever. He falls at her feet, Radharani's feet, even in front of her Sakhis. Still she spurns him and rejects him. This gopi exhibits anguish and physical weakness, incoherent speech, and breathing long, drawn-out breaths after Krishna leaves. All these subsequent emotions arise to follow her rejecting mood or her anger after the lover's quarrel. So she really goes into a loss there, the Kalahantarita. There's some description here, verse 87. Yasakinam purapara patitam valabam rusha nirasya paschat tapati kala antarita hisa asya pralapa santapa glani nishwasi taraya. Regretful. The girl who quarrels with her lover even when he falls at her feet and begs her to forgive him in front of all her Sakhi girlfriends, still she angrily rejects Krishna, and then she herself ends up suffering afterwards. This type of Nayaka, gopi, lover, heroine of Krishna is called Kala Antarita. This gopi feels great remorse and suffering. She becomes listless, sighs, and talks nonsense words. These are her symptoms. And there's a verse here to illustrate this. Kalahantarita Bhav. Radharani is speaking to herself, a soliloquy. Sraja Shipta Dure Swayam Uparita Keshi Ripu Rupuna. Keshi Ripu means the killer of the Keshi demon. Priyavachas Tasya Shruti Parisarante Pina Krita Naman Esha Shoni Vilutita Shikan Prakshinamaya Manastenedam Me Sputati put apakarpitam eva. Oh, I have thrown the flower garland that Krishna gave me far away. I no longer hear his pleasing and flattering words. I do not look at Krishna when he humbly bows down at my feet with his hair strewn on the ground. My mind is splitting open as if being heated in a fire. She is a very heavy word Radharani's using. In her speech to herself, she says, oh, she says, Dure Swam Keshi Rupana Vachastas. Manas Tanedam, Manas Puta, Puta Apakarpitam. Vishwanath explains that this word, put, P-U-T, dot under the T, putta, means a crucible, which means a heavy earthen vessel or maybe steel, which is used, which you melt gold and silver. It's very heavy fired clay and heavy, thick, strong clay pot for cooking. It's so strong. Nowadays the crucibles are very huge and they're made out of steel or heavy iron for melting lead or melting silver and gold to form something else. Sometimes when their stapati is making a murti of Radharani or Krishna, the murti maker, they melt the ashtadhatu. Ashtadhatu means 8 metals. They put them in a crucible, iron and silver and bell metal and gold and everything. They melt together. And at that time, when they're melting the base metal of brass or a bell metal for the murti, if it's some very opulent guru or some very wealthy person, when the stapati is producing the murti of brass or bell metal, basic brass or bell metal murtis of Radha and Krishna, then the shishya of that guru, or the wives and daughters and sisters and mothers and relatives of that king or that person making the deities or commissioning the deities to be made, they all step forward with and offer their gold bangles or gold earrings or silver and whatnot to the stapati, murti maker, and then it's all thrown in the crucible. It's like a big khichdi pot, like you're making some khichdi with rice and dal, and you get a little innovative, and then you put in some elaichi and a couple cloves, and then some nuts and some dried fruit, and really charge it up. And this is what the kind of khichdi they make for the Goswami Saptalaya Mandirs in the Poshamas. It's very cold. Before Magh, there's Poshamas, December, January. And then all the Thakurjis, they eat special winter khichdi, which they usually don't eat throughout the year. They eat puris and all kinds of deep fried foods and regular fancy type of foods. But in this 1 month of Posh in Brajmandal, at least, I don't know, maybe all India, but in Brajmandal, all the Thakurjis also here in Barsana and Nandagram. There, because Krishna wants and Krishna likes, they feed khichdi, but it's very nice. It's dry fruits and nuts and spices. And that's what everyone who has a murti, in the wintertime, they will be offering khichdi to their thakur at least once or twice a week. So they throw so many things in a pot and cook it down. So the stapati makers making the murti, so they throw so many precious and semi-precious metals there. The ashtadhatu, which of course includes iron and silver and gold and bell metal and these type of things. So some deities have a lot of gold inside of them, a lot of especially gold. So they get stolen, and then the deities are melted down, recover the gold. So Radharani's comparing her mind. She's comparing her mind to her mind is like gold. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. Her mind is like pure gold. 95 carats, not 100 carats gold. Not some crappy cheap 24 carat gold, some crappy junk. 1, 2 lakh, 3 lakh ring. It's from this world. Radharani has 1,000 carats. She doesn't eat carrots though. That's a side point. CAR-80s. So then her mind is like that rare gold, and this heat, the anger and at herself, and a frustration with herself, and she's feeling after spurning Krishna and rejecting him, even after he's humbly fell at her feet, and his hair, his long wavy hair is hanging over her feet and strewn on the Brajaduli right in front of her, in the utmost expression of humility. Still Radharani is not fazed and makes no response. So then later she's burning with regret and sorrow and anguish. So she herself in her own soliloquy, solo speech, loquacious. Quacious means speak. We say eloquent. Quacious. Solo means one, so soliloquy means one speaker. So she's speaking to herself. It's actually called monologue. And she's regretting it. It's quite an amazing analogy. Vishwanath has noticed this particular Sanskrit word which Radharani is using. Putapa, in other words, top burning. Man putap. My mind is burning, and the gold of my mind is burning in the crucible of my anguish and anger, and my burning heart and separation from Krishna. This is the Kalahantarita lover. Another translation of this verse. Srajashipta dore swayam uparita keshi ripun priyavachas tasya shuti parisarante pinakrita. Priyavacha shruti parisarante. When Krishna speaks priyavacha, very sweet, gentle words. Shruti, I'm listening, but I don't pay any attention. I don't even respond. Naman esha shoni vilutita. Vilutita shikam paikshina maya. He's vilutita, his hair is strewn or rolling on the ground, bouncing on the ground, and I'm paying no attention. I've thrown away all the flower garlands Krishna gave me, Keshi Ripu gave me. I don't let his sweet words of supplication enter my ears. And when Krishna offers obeisances at my feet, I refuse to look at his shikam. Shika means like Shikara. Top of Krishna's mustak or head, Shir is this Shika means Shikanda skalitam. Shika means his peacock feathers. So when his peacock feathers are, I refuse to see Krishna's Mor Mukut, peacock feather crown, resting on the ground before me. All his endeavors are as effective as a meal buried deep underground. That's an interesting translation. My mind is splitting up and quite a different idea there. Interesting. You take a full meal and dig a hole in the ground and bury it, you won't get much effect. So Krishna, all his words and all his supplications and gestures of humility and submitting his Mor Mukut, his crown and peacock, his beloved and dearest peacock feathers and crown at the feet of Radharani were no avail, because she had adopted this bhav and temperament and mood of the Kalahantarita Nayika. So Ujjwal Nilamani ki jai. So next